everybody. I'm going to be reading a few chapters to you guys today from There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. So we left off last time on chapter 22, where he read his big, long list of all the things that he wanted to talk about with Carla. And then at the very end of the chapter, he ripped it up and put it in the trash can. So we're going to find out what happens after that. So this is chapter 23. Look out! Here comes the monster, screamed a chubby fourth grade boy. It's the monster from outer space. Ah, it's so ugly, yelled his skinny friend. Don't let it touch you, warned a girl with pink glasses, or you'll turn into a monster too. Bradley ran at them. They scattered and regrouped like pigeons. He sat down to eat his lunch. It sure is a stupid monster, shouted a third grader. After lunch, Bradley sat at his desk, last seat, last row. He didn't look at Jeff. He didn't look the other way either at the chart full of gold stars, and he didn't look straight ahead at Mrs. Ebel either. He didn't look anywhere. It was time to see Carla again. He took the hall pass from Mrs. Ebel and walked out of the classroom. He hated Carla. He didn't want to make the same mistake with her that he'd made with Jeff. He realized that Claudia was right. Carla didn't like him. That was just her job. She was waiting for him outside of her door. Hello, Bradley, she said, and she held out her hand. It's a pleasure to see you today. I appreciate your coming to see me. He walked past her and sat down at the round table. She sat across from him. She was wearing a long-sleeved white shirt with two triangles on it, a red one and a blue one. Did you make a list of topics to discuss? She asked. No, you're the teacher. So you're the one who has to say what we talk about, not me. That's your job. Well, let me think, said Carla. Are you sure you can't think of anything? He shook his head. I'm surprised. I thought you would have come up with a lot of interesting topics. Well, in that case, we'll have to talk about school. Shall we start with homework? Monsters from outer space, he replied. Monsters from outer space, he repeated. You said I could pick the topic, and I want to talk about monsters from outer space. What a wonderful topic, Carla said. The only way to kill them is with a ray gun, said Bradley. Regular guns or even hand grenades and atomic bombs won't kill them. You need a ray gun. He stood up and pretended to shoot a ray gun, making a noise that sounded like a cross between a machine gun and a horse. Carla put her hands up to protect herself. Don't shoot me, she said. You're a monster from outer space, he told her. No, I'm not. I'm a counselor. And he stopped firing. Do you believe in monsters from outer space? She shook her head. No, but I do believe that there are other types of creatures living in outer space. I just don't believe in monsters. I believe that Earth is just one small planet in a gigantic universe. I think there are billions of other planets with trillions of other kinds of creatures living on them. Some are real stupid, and others are smarter than you and me. Some are bigger than dinosaurs, and others are smaller than ants. But out of all those creatures, I don't think that there is one monster. Not even one? No, said Carla. I think that everyone has good inside of him. Everyone can feel happiness and sadness and loneliness, but sometimes people think that someone's a monster. But that's only because that they can't see the good that's there inside of him. And then a terrible thing happens. They kill him? No, even worse. They call him a monster, and other people start calling him a monster, and everyone treats him like a monster, and then after a while, he starts believing it himself. He thinks he's a monster too. So he acts like one. But he still isn't a monster. He still has lots of good buried deep inside him. But what if he's real ugly? Asked Bradley. What if he has green skin and only one eye in the middle of his face and 3 arms and 2 hands on each arm and 8 fingers on each hand? Carla laughed. You and I might think that's ugly, she said, but that's just because it's different from what we're used to seeing. On that planet, that might be considered beautiful. You might have just described a handsome movie star. Bradley laughed. On that planet, they would probably think that I was ugly because I don't have green skin and I have 2 eyes. Bradley shook his head. No, they might think I was ugly, but not you. Why, Bradley? Carla said with astonishment. That's the nicest thing you have ever said to me. Thank you. He blushed. He hadn't meant it the way it came out. I don't want to talk about monsters anymore, he mumbled. Okay, said Carla. I think we had a very good conversation, don't you? You picked an excellent topic. For the rest of the session, he colored. He took a green crayon out of Carla's large box of crayons and tried to draw the creature from outer space that he had described. He was able to draw the 3 arms and the 6 hands, but he had trouble fitting 8 fingers onto each hand. He looked up. Carla? Yes, Bradley? Can you see inside monsters? He asked. Can you see the good? That's all I see. He returned to his picture. He drew a black eye in the middle of the creature's face. He drew a red heart inside the creature's chest to show all the good that was there. Well, how does a monster stop being a monster? He asked. I mean, if everyone only sees a monster and they keep treating him like a monster, how does he stop being a monster? It isn't easy, Carla said. I think first that he has to realize for himself that he isn't a monster. That, I think, is the first step. Until he knows he isn't a monster, how is anybody else supposed to know? Bradley finished coloring and showed the picture to Carla. He's a movie star on his planet, he explained. Everyone loves him. He's very handsome, said Carla. You want it? Asked Bradley. I mean, I don't want it anyway, so you can have it. I'd love it, said Carla. Thank you. In fact, I'm going to hang it on the wall right now. Bradley watched her tack it up, and he almost told her not to put holes in the wall, but he changed his mind. It was time for him to go back to class. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, said Carla. I hope you have another wonderful topic for us to discuss. He started to go, and then he stopped and turned around. Yes? She asked. He put his hands on his hips and stared at her. Did you forget something? He stood and waited. Her eyes suddenly lit up, and she held out her hand and said, I enjoyed your visit very much. Thank you for sharing so much with me. And he stretched his mouth into a half smile, half frown, and then he hurried out of her office. Oh, I'm going to read one more. Chapter 24. Here he comes, said Lori. Don't be a chicken. Colleen bit her bottom lip. It was after school, and the 3 girls stood across the street and watched Jeff. Maybe we should just wait until tomorrow, said Colleen. Hey, Jeff, Lori shouted. No, Colleen whispered. Jeff turned. Lori and Melinda walked toward him. Colleen lagged behind. Hello, Jeff, said Lori. Hi, Jeff, said Melinda. Hello, hi, answered Jeff. Lori laughed. Come on, Colleen, said Melinda. Ask him. Colleen blushed and looked away. Colleen has something she wants to ask you, said Lori. Well, see, okay, well, stammered Colleen. Quit bothering me, Jeff said very quietly. We're not bothering you, said Lori. Colleen just wants to ask you. Melinda stopped her. Let Colleen ask him, she said. Well, see, said Colleen. Okay, she took a breath. It's my birth. I don't want her asking me anything, Jeff snapped. Colleen turned bright red. And quit saying hello to me, too. We can say hello to you if we want, said Melinda. It's a free country. I don't want you saying it to me, said Jeff. Don't worry, Colleen exploded. I won't. I will, said Lori. Hello, 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 hello. Shut up, said Jeff, and he slammed his book down on the sidewalk. Hello, Jeff, said Lori. Jello, Jeff. She laughed at her mistake. Jello, Jeff. Hello, Jello. And she laughed hysterically. Quit laughing, Jeff shouted. She can laugh, said Colleen. You can't tell her she can't laugh. Hello, 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 said Lori as fast as she could. Shut up, screamed Jeff. You shut up, said Melinda. I'm not afraid of you, Melinda, said Jeff. I'm not afraid of you either, said Melinda. Jeff raised his fist in the air, and Melinda did the same. Lori shrieked in anticipation. Okay, hit me, said Jeff. You hit me first, said Melinda. No, you hit me first, said Jeff. Somebody hit somebody, shouted Lori. Jeff tapped Melinda's shoulder with his fist, and she slugged him in the stomach. And as he bent over, she hit him in the nose, and Jeff flailed his arms as he tried to defend himself, but Melinda kept punching him in the neck, in the stomach, and then in the eye. Jeff fell to the ground, and Melinda jumped on top of him, knees first, and then she sat on his chest and held his arms flat against the ground, and Lori knelt beside them and slapped the ground as she counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10! Melinda stood up, and Lori held Melinda's arms high in the air, and holding her nose with her hand, she bellowed, "The winner and still champion of the world, Marvelous Melinda!" And Colleen clapped her hands. So, little Jeff has now gotten himself in some trouble with Melinda. All right, so if you are wanting to, one of your choices this week, just like last week, is going to be to listen to this chapter and then write about it. So we're going to be talking about what do you think is going to happen with Jeff after this. So that's what I'm going to want you to be thinking about. Like, okay, so here we are. Bradley got into some trouble with Melinda. Jeff has now kind of changed the way he's been behaving. We talked about that before we left, that he's not been acting as nice. He's stopped hanging out with Bradley. So now, what do we think is going to happen? He just got beat up by Melinda too. What do we think is going to happen with that? Where do we think it's going to go from here? All right. Thank you guys, and I can't wait to talk to you again next week and read some more. All right. Bye.